we're good. We're good. We're still good.
Starting
I just needed to
streaming.
I had to go plug my phone in.
Yeah. Let me just make sure my audio. Yep, we're matching. Good. And YouTube
Nope, we're
started
matching.
up. You
Oh god,
know,
wrong thing. Bad things are happening.
every time and every now and then we don't match audio. Okay. So do I just wait for an invite?
I speculate so. Let me,
Okay.
Yeah, I'm probably going to at least create your save file, technically, I'm guessing.
Well, I'm at the main menu where it says play game, records, leaderboard, library, options, credits.
Yeah, give me a second. Let me see if I can get you invited here. Obviously, we're going on the hardest difficulty, right? Off
Uh,
settings, invite
we
only,
can.
partner or not, react to your attacks. Yes. Friendly fire on.
That's such a weird thing it says. When BSAA letters are slightly out of focus. I don't see them blurring. Oopsie. Did I do that again? I think I did.
I guess go ahead and go to the new game and go into normal, and then I'll invite you after the intro cutscene, probably. If you, because I don't know if it'll do that thing where it'll skip the intro cutscene if you're interested in watching it, just for the sake of, I guess, generalization of knowing what's going on.
Okay, let me make sure Twitch is being good. Yeah, Twitch is being good. Again, my Xbox indicated that you were broadcasting, and I almost went like, yeah. Oh, nope, there's a join game. Join another player game.
Nice.
Custom
This
match
is
or quick match? Quickly join. Oh, just join anyone's. That must be
yeah,
weird.
exactly.
What difficulty are we doing?
Normal.
Normal. What chapter are we doing?
Probably the first one. I have mine set up for invite only, but I don't know if I. I want to watch the intro. I want to know what's going on.
Well, I'm waiting for the intro to play again. So, you enjoy that intro. Because my fans came to watch me play, not the game. They wanted to watch the game, they would play the game.
Yeah, good point.
Should I be the female?
Okay.
Should I be the male? Should I be the female? Or should I be the male? Oh no, it's costume selected for each. Okay. Do I want to filters?
Filters.
Yeah, apparently you can have the game filtered. And then I have a question mark setting. Okay, whenever you're ready to invite me, we'll wait patiently.
Give me just a minute. Yeah, just sit there patiently. Yeah, I'm just like a good little boy.
Mm-hmm. I just watch my viewership decrease slowly and going from 1 to 0 very slowly. A is the run button. LB, then RT is the swing knife. LNRT is the fire/throw. LT and A is to reload. What in the world? Why would you want that? Okay. These controller mappings just seem all over the place. A is to run. I hold LT, and then I press X to swing knife. I hold RT, and then I press X to fire. I heard RT and then press A to reload.
Yeah, its controls have always been like that. Okay, now it's loading, so I should be able to send you an invite in a
LT
second.
ready weapon, RT is to fire.
Chapter 1-1, Siberian checkpoint. There we go. There we go. There's your invite.
Okay, accepting your invite now. Joining the session will end your current game. Okay.
No, it won't. No, it won't. Good. Legman has requested to join the game.
I'm waiting for a reply. Reply back to me, please. I'm lonely.
Oh, okay, so it just says restart. Okay, there we go. It says you'll start at the next checkpoint. I'm like, okay, cool. I can just make you sit there in purgatory and like the next checkpoint.
I'm sure my fans love this.
You love me. You really love me. I want. Okay, there it goes. I hit A and it decided it wanted to bring up an extra. Like, are you sure you want to do this?
You've joined my game. Organize.
Hooray.
Buy. Do I got money to buy? I got no money to buy. Well, I guess I'm about to.
We have nothing.
Oh no, I can organize.
There's nothing to organize though, is there?
Yeah, I have a gun and I have first aid spray.
Oh, nice.
I don't know what
Good to know.
Organization does, but I organized. I'm ready.
Ah, good point. Maybe it's. I can sell it.
I put it in the lower upper corner thing, but I'm ready. No, I don't want to exit.
Oh, yeah.
I'm ready.
There we go.
No, I don't want to exit.
Yes, there. You have to exit. It's like exit to the menu or whatever, or to the next thing.
Okay.
I'm guessing maybe that's more like a checkpoint screen of in between sections, maybe.
Well, hopefully we didn't just put our guns away.
Don't jinx it. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I do what you're doing. We're gonna do this whole section with our bare fists.
I just follow you. Why you stop? I'm following you. You wanna
Get
go
off
this
him!
way?
He's an innocent man! How did you run?
If only I told
Wait,
you.
Yeah, he's run.
This is making me want to slide. Run so slow. We're not gonna save him. We're not gonna save him.
I don't know where he went.
Please stop. Thank you. I stopped them.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. I ran up and
I was looking the other way.
they have the bag.
Oh, that's our bag now?
I don't know. I'm assuming it has a body in it. There's blood on it.
How you doing, you?
Do 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 do.
I'm tracking you. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, a radio.
Everything's suddenly vacant and empty.
I know, they cleaned that body
Pretty
fast.
Dun dun dun. Hey, look, it's meat. Someone's speaking to me? Camera makes me a little nauseous.
Okay, I beat it. I won. Yeah, the camera in this game is all like, we want to give a realistic, like, so every step is kind of like boom, 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 boom. Okay, grab weapons. Change equipped items. Equip.
Quit.
There we go. Okay, that was strange, but okay. I disagree with how they reloaded their guns, but sure. Or whatever they were doing. You apparently get special body armor.
I'm clearly the main character of this game to play through.
It's okay, I'll be the eye
I'm clearly going to
candy.
make it to the end. Literally.
You just want to steal all my subscribers. Alright,
Investigate.
switch weapons.
Something with bugs. Now, are you seeing what I'm seeing right now when I hit this?
Seeing what?
Or are you still moving around? Okay, it must just be for me then. I don't know if it did that weird thing where if I hit X on something, it'll control you to look at what I'm looking at.
I'm trying to figure out how I switch weapons. Well, I equipped both guns. Oh, I can see your stuff. Okay.
Yeah, that's my stuff. How did you change the health item? I'll be like you. I'll just look at the controls real quick. Is your game paused? No, you're still moving. Okay, never mind. You're good. It's one of those weird things. I don't know if it does that thing.
I don't know how to.
Left button, right trigger, swing, knife.
Nope.
Okay, so left button is knife. Okay.
Ooh. Ooh.
Why is inventory? God, don't do it.
Why?
I'm your friend. Okay, let's go.
I don't believe you. Prove yourself to me.
I want to say a conveniently placed wood crate. Yeah. Money.
You got money? I got a dead cow.
Money. I got this money. Cutting the meat. Cutting
Oh,
the
that's
meat.
so strange. Oh, I don't
Oh,
like
God, where'd you
that
go?
at all. But I think
You
that's
outside?
part of the Resident Evil design. It's still warm. It's still
Here's a
warm.
barrel. Yeah. Money! Oh, you're down here. Okay. Here I come. Don't leave without me. It's still warm. What's inside of here?
There's an animal carcass on the table. Is it a cemetery? I don't know what cemeteries you've been to. Maybe a ritual. I'm gonna go with a ritual, maybe.
Found you. Hey, you got some money. Okay. Money!
These controls are so hard.
Ooh, I got a health plant here. Mine. Oh God! Ah, what was that for?
You're in the way.
I'll show you in the way. Oh, you shut the door in my face. That's not nice. Thought we were friends.
Rude.
This box won't break.
B to
Are you calling
open.
my name? It says I need to be near you. It says you're ready. Is your body ready?
Violence on women. So bad.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
I was.
I know you are. You always play the victim card. Ow! So wrong.
This is where I get banned from YouTube.
I'm so sorry.
They're gonna feed him a very rotten potato. It's already seeding.
One of us! One of us! Poor guy.
Or we could solve his pain right now.
We're gonna have to.
No, we don't.
Guy's gonna eat us.
We don't have to.
You'll comfort him with hugs, won't you?
Yep.
All I need is a hug.
He's just
That's how
lonely.
normal people react.
You see, he's wanting a hug. Go save me. Thank you.
Thank you. He's still alive. He's still alive. I got what happened.
It was so funny because your guy reacted the same way. He's like, I don't know what happened.
Hit me too. Guess we're going this way.
I got this. We must find the guy who gave them the poison apple.
Take your time. Let's go. Just, run out there and get murdered. I think I found bullets. Need them bullets because I wasted my bullets shooting that thing.
I know. How dare you?
Let me reload here. Okay. That's cool. I wasn't doing anything.
I'm just pouring you along with me. It's like Awk all over again. I'll give them with my knife. Ah. Get away. Ow. They're beating me up. Come save me.
It'd be good if you aim further. I shot you in the face. And the guy literally, there's a lot of them. I don't think I got enough bullets for this.
How do I quick turn around? Well, I shut the door.
I'm glad
We're good.
I'm glad I wasted like 10 shots on that.
One in my face.
Yeah. I got first aid spray if you need it.
I need Chris to kick it in for me. Kick it in.
There. Come on! Oh my god, 2 bullets. Can you give me some bullets? Hey, bullets, I need these. Because I'm a dumbass and I wasted bullets on those. Hey, we can go down there. Let's not go down there yet. Let's make sure we break these barrels first. Knife. Yeah. Bullets. Lots of bullets. You need bullets? You want bullets? There's some bullets. Give me some bullets.
I'm trying to get bullets.
Some bullets on the ground right there.
I got bullets.
Good. Alrighty. Hey, ninja! Alright, here we go! Okay. So far, so good. Dun, 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 dun. Ew, gross. Come back, eye candy! Yeah, you take all the goodies. Take all the goodies out of them! I'm joking.
Help me, Chris.
Sorry.
I need help with this door.
Shiva! I'm sorry, I need them up with a big bad door.
This door's
Oh, my.
heavy.
Do you need help carrying your groceries too while you're at it?
Can you take this gun? I don't want it. It's violent. We're going to be like the NPC. I'm going to go into danger, okay? You come follow whenever you have time.
Exactly.
I like how the cutscene can move with their guns.
Yeah, isn't that convenient? A lot of guns were stuck as stationary targets.
I also like how the game's been closed captioning a majority of this, and then when he's talking, it wasn't. When he was speaking in the little microphone, it was like, you can hear him. It's closed captioning the prisoner, though. So it's such a weird choice they made. I'm sure he's not a boss.
Yeah, guy with the obviously big axe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hey, see us!
See, we need to get a microphone.
Yeah,
Then we
I would
can
like
control
first,
this mindless hive.
I don't think we're gonna have bullets.
I have all the bullets. Out the window!
I found bullets!
You found bullets in watermelon?
I found a hand grenade. Are they outside?
Yeah, I think so. I think this is a resting place.
Wait, how do I, God.
No.
I'm going to die. Equip. Oh no! Okay, I killed him, okay.
It's okay, I'll help.
See if it drops
Hello,
any ammo or
friend.
anything.
Help me! Help me!
I'm sorry, what's wrong? He's like, walk away nice and quiet. Drop your club. Look at that bat!
Help me! Help me!
Get like that.
Help me!
Oh boy, bad things are happening to good people.
Where are you? You're not helping me.
Ah, no! It's in my chest.
I'm coming!
Ah!
Help!
Thank you. Oh boy. Oh god, no! Get me out of here!
Yay, I did it. Where are you?
Did what? Where'd you go? I'm going to die out here. I need that.
Really? I'm
Oh, no, you
dying. How do I switch weapons?
Oh no! Oh no!
How do I switch weapons? Nope.
Where'd you go?
I'm dying.
I'm coming to save you. I'm coming to get you.
I died.
Oh, you turned into a bloody mess. Why didn't you stay back here with me so we can fend them off?
I didn't know where you were.
Oh, we're still where we were. There you go. There's your body.
You died. Do I continue?
Ah.
Yes. Okay, let's organize this. I got some herbs. Herbs can be
Maybe
moved.
some grenade that I used wasted.
Well, I don't know how to open up my inventory, so I was like, I don't know how to heal
Why?
myself. There we go.
You can combine the herbs to make stronger herbs, of course, by the way.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You can either take two, like, typically health, a first aid spray is going to be your go-to, like, whenever you need it. Like, whenever your health is, like, really low. But you can combine, I think it's, like, red, yellow, and green to make a super one that full heals. Or you can combine, like, two greens,
Okay.
or a yellow and a green.
So where do you want me? I'm gonna go into this corner.
Let me smash this. It might give me another grenade. Oh, it did. Another grenade.
More bullets.
I need bullets. Gun here. There you go. Equip. How much does it shoot him in the face when they come around the corner? Ooh, an incendiary grenade. Incendiary. Huh, a turret beam. Oh, there they go. Good kill. Loading. There's stuff over here I need to grab real quick. More bullets. I think that grenade actually. Oh. He ducking. He don't like that. Good kill.
It's like a class of shooters. He has no face anymore.
There's a. Oh god. Bad. That's not nice. There's a grenade over here if you want to get it. Oh, he's gonna beat me with his pole! He's gonna beat me with his pole! Let me get behind the wall. Behind you. Trying to help you here.
Help me!
Gotta reload, sorry.
It's okay. I'm just picking up stuff.
Oh boy, here they come.
Hello. Okay. Press Y. Use. I cured him.
We got it, nice. Oh boy! Oh! I started getting back and you were like holding me in place like, kill him! Kill him! Kill him! Hey, you work on him, I'll get all the ammo that guy dropped. Where you at? I'll come help you. Oh god, it hurts! Is there another one in here? Oh boy. Let me run. Run, Forrest, run! Oh, there's so many people over there. Just avoid death.
Ah!
Oh god, he killed me! Oh no, it was you that died. I have to get to you.
It's okay, I'm coming. No, I'm not.
Oh no, well, you immediately killed you. I didn't think they did that. I thought you were gonna be in a bleed out state until I could get to you. So I was like, I'll wait a few seconds and then I'll come get you.
We are so good at this game.
I'm not gonna be that guy. Yeah, weirdoing so bad.
No, that's what the comment said.
Okay.
Organize. Yep, that's exactly how I like it.
Okay. Try this again. Get me this hand grenade. Wrench the other repeat. Climb over. I pretty much killed that entire wave. Handgun back out. I got us money. I think he's dead. Oh god, throw him out right. Good kill. I'm down to 19 bullets. That one's dead. Let me grab this ammo back here. Go snag these. Oh god. Oh come on, I wouldn't swing the damn sword. Knife or whatever you're gonna call it.
You got some behind you.
Thank you.
Now you got some from the ceiling. Woo.
Out of here. Going this way. Ah, big boy. Ah. There's nothing. Ah. Get off me. Reload.
Get off me. Get off me. Ow.
Wrong button.
Why can't I use it?
Let me get over here.
Big boy's here.
Run to the other way.
There you go. Use. Don't get hit.
I think he killed his own ally. Hey, I'm out of bullets. Let me see if there's any bullets over here. What the fun's a bullet?
Get off! Get off! Get off! You big. Get off!
There's bullets over
Uh-oh.
here.
This isn't good. This isn't good. This isn't good. Get off me. Yay! I made it out! I really shouldn't have, but I made it out.
Oh, another hand grenade.
Whoop. Whoop. Don't mind
I'm just
me.
running.
Hello.
Sing mobile. something over here.
Why? Why do you reload? What's up here? Life?
Hey, I found more
Luxuries?
health. Luxuries.
Reloading? It's okay.
Give me down! 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 Oh boy. Everyone's up here for a smashing good time.
Yep.
Give me now.
Can I jump?
Only got 5 bullets. That's not
Oh,
enough to
I
kill
can
all
jump
these
across here. Okay. Let's jump across
people.
here.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. Wait, hey, is this where the ammo's at, maybe? No ammo, just smashed pumpkins. Pick up what? Oh, I thought I already picked it up. What's in here?
Ah, get off of me! Get off of me! Run, 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 run. Jump!
Machine gun ammo.
Thank you.
I got machine gun. Give me a second here. I'll come up. You just
Jump
stay alive.
down. Yay!
You stay alive. I gotta figure out how to get this bad boy equipped here. There we go. Now I'm cooking with some peanut oil.
Don't mind me. Ow! You hurt me. I was actually doing pretty good before I got
Where's
hit.
the big guy at? Big guy's down here.
Yep.
They're coming to get me now.
Okay, big guy's coming after me anyways.
Give me a second. Let me try to get them lined up and I'll take them out. I don't want to waste any bullets.
Dodge the big guy. Find the zombies. Yep, bullets. Hey!
Oh, nice, we did it.
I think, maybe. Yep, reinforcements
So,
have
there's your-
arrived. We must take cover. That's not really good cover. Especially to the weapon he's firing. Gas must be really expensive in this ward. Because I would imagine just having a helicopter would be the proper way of doing it. I was better at my
Hey, we did
accuracy.
Yeah, you are. You well tied for rank.
Mm-hmm. You were superior and enemies routed, whatever that is.
I'm sure that means killed, probably.
Probably.
Not bad.
Okay. I approve. You got all sorts of goodies, but it's okay. I got no money to buy anything, so it's fine.
Let me combine some of these things here. I'm out of health spray though, it kind of sucks. I have a lot of submachine gun. I guess I gotta hold on to those too. I guess I'll store this. How do I store you? I want to store you.
No, no. If I move, no.
I'm not gonna spend money on upgrading my gun.
That's what I was looking at. Nope, I don't got the money. Oh, I could increase the capacity.
2,000 bucks to get the firepower up on the submachine gun, so that'll probably be my first upgrade.
It sounds nice that you were picking up everything. It's okay. I just keep my plant and my 10 bullets.
Here, I'll give you
Oh, I got another plant. Yay. I'll move you over here.
that.
And
Can I
you'll be
split
Bob.
this? No.
Oopsie. I put it in my inventory.
I wish there was a way to move to the inventory. I thought that was kind of.
No, you hit remove.
Oh, got you. Oh, should actually be good. Got 2 hand grenades if we need them.
Okay. I might want to use the plant. How do I use? I'm
Dang it, I
almost
should have stood near you. I
fully
think
here.
I could have gotten the effect of it. It's over here. Wrong button.
I'm not
Guess that doesn't open up.
100% sure how we get there.
I'm over here looking through the buildings to make sure we don't have any like ammo or anything lying around.
See, again, you're gonna have all the supplies, and I'm gonna die a billion times.
The thing is, when you die, you force the spell to fail, so you might want to.
Did I not say you're gonna have all the supplies, and I'm gonna die a billion times?
That's what I'm saying, you know.
Or
So when you
maybe-
die, you fail the spell.
Or maybe you should give me some of that supplies.
I found a drawer with nothing in it. Wow. I guess just be wary. You can open up drawers. Nothing in that sack of meat. Right, I think there's nothing here. We could probably go forward. Well, there was a container of gas right here. We probably could have shot the container of gas and it probably would have blew up the enemies. Maybe.
I have no clue.
That's we really want to make sure that we have looted all that we could loot. That was a box. It looked like a box to me. You're pinging me. Come on, Chris. Come on, Chris. You're ready to go. Come on, Chris.
I wish I could see your view.
I'm just walking around over here, stabbing stuff. You're over there. Why are you way? Oh, you're through the gate over here. Okay, I'm going. For some reason, like my ping was like going to the left. I'm like, okay, I guess like up the stairs over here. There's nothing in here. There's a good hiding spot if we get ambushed up ahead. What's down here? Have you already been down here? Look down here. See what's down here. Coming. Chris is busy. Like a typical woman. Can't be patient. Joking. Come on. Die, Junior.
It's not safe, heart.
Now you're saying wait. Okay, I don't get it. Got me all confused over here. It's down this hall over here.
It's okay, I'll wait.
Hey, you stinker. I'm glad one of us will. Nothing down there. I investigated the mystery.
Yay! Progress.
I'm sorry. You can't play these type of games with me where it's like, oh, there's stuff you can pick up everywhere. It's like, okay, let me run my hands over all the desks over here. I think we go through the door. Are we going? We can't go through. We can't go through the windows. Did you just smash something in here?
Don't mind me.
There's nothing of youth inside. That's good. Tuna. Yeah. Peekaboo. Oh, that's cool. Progress.
Progress.
Sorry, does someone want a piggyback ride?
Bye bye. Yay! Okay.
Good luck. There's a
There's a shiny key.
Yeah. We know how the ladies love the shiny things. Oh, wait, what are you doing down here? You gotta back up.
Help me back up. Thank
What are you
you.
doing? You're gonna just take a fall back down
Shiny
again.
key. Shiny key.
Oh god, is that a zombie? I can't tell. I don't want to shoot the local, you know? You leave me no choice if you come any closer. I feel like I should have had what I needed there. Sorry. There's an achievement for 4 melee kills. Oh my god, what are you doing?
You said there was an achievement for 4 melee kills.
So you going back up, or...?
What, so
Did
you
you already get the key?
No, you can't get the key up there.
You sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
He's still alive.
You can answer him.
Sure, why not? Give me that melee kill. Ow! Oh, you dodgy one! Oh god! He threw his toy at me. I'm being hit in the back. Who's he?
You want me to help you?
He picked it back up. I think he'll throw it at me again. Okay, he's dead. They're going to die. Reload here. Out of those bullets. Got my reload. Those gas canisters, I really feel like we could use those for more bullets. You found bullets, look at you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. I believe in you, buddy. I found a box. Which contains money!
There's one behind me. Get off. Get off me.
Got your back.
No, you don't. Don't lie.
More money, yay. Let's investigate this room. Nothing's in this room.
Yeah.
I guess it's a good place to filter out enemies, maybe.
Hello, Jimmy. I don't want to have babies.
Let's do it together. Good kill. Okay, I swear there was an achievement for four melees. I couldn't remember exactly.
It's locked from the inside. If only we had a key.
Yeah, if only we had a key. I think we actually. I think you can get the key up there. I think you're just being complicated about it.
No, no keys.
I just don't think you want to go get the keys. What it is. I think you're scared.
I can't kick this door. It's so strong. You're a strong man. Bye-bye. Okay. No strong man. I'll try again. Nope.
There's a door over here.
Need strong man.
Hey, there's a shotgun nearby. Gold. We got money. It's empty. Someone's completely cleaned it out. Oh, darn. I'm sorry. I got shotgun bullets. There's a shotgun somewhere around here, and I want to get it.
I got an incendiary grenade.
Ooh, so do I.
No, you don't.
Oh, no, you must have picked it up from the last round.
No, I picked it up from this round. Gosh.
I don't know. I know there was one last one that spawned. I need ammo. Oh my goodness! I'm gonna die!
Come here! I need help! Yep. Now I get to die. Because my teammates are not gonna come save me.
Well, you probably got the one that I was just shooting at. Like, I walked over here, and like two of them just appeared. And first aid spray. Oh, bullets.
Ow. Evil.
You're pretty low on health.
Yes, that's what happens when all you get is gold.
Hey. You sure you couldn't get into that lock? You couldn't get that key?
No, I couldn't. There was literally nothing up there. You need help now? Okay, I'll help you. She needs help. Are you gonna help her? Am I not good enough?
Checkpoint.
We need a key.
We need a key. I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. I got shotgun bullets, so we found a shotgun. I guess in all fairness, you'll have the shotgun. I'll take the submachine gun.
I have no clue how to get up.
Guess I'll use my handgun up. Stairs right here. Oh boy, I didn't mean to go here. If I knew it was gonna be a cutscene, I wouldn't have done it.
You're gonna die. See, I told you were gonna help her. She's gonna bite you. She's gonna bite you. She's gonna bite you.
Boss fight! Boss fight! Boss fight! Ah! You guys try to stab behind you. She's dead. Ah. Oh my god, save me! Save some bullets here.
Yep, I'm dead.
Well, they're eating you. Good.
Spray, spray, spray.
And that one died. Bullets are becoming an issue.
We made it to the other side.
Did you already open up that door? Alright, heads up, I'm going back to go loot all the buildings down here because I know we. Oh boy! We need a key! Unless we can't, unless there's something back here to loot.
There we go. Ow.
I don't come in, there's nothing down here to loot. Wait, maybe I can check up here real quick.
Nothing. Nothing.
Yeah, nothing back here to loot. So we had to go here anyways, there was nowhere else to go.
Again,
I'm
all I
coming.
get is gold.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a problem, isn't it? Good kill. You like went through the door and ran the other way.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm gonna end up selling my hand grenades, I don't know. I'm not really a hand grenade type kind of guy. Oh, you need help? Let me make sure there's nothing else over here to loot. Because we have like no monies.
We shouldn't have no money. I pretty much picked up tons of money.
You did. Okay, we came down that way. Okay, we're good. I'm coming to you. So you don't miss anything is the biggest thing, because, you know, we're clearly starting to get deprived on supplies. Oh, you're so sweet. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you, White Candy. Oh, that's not the end of the chapter?
Now we must be in the ground.
Ah, I forgot to reload. This is gonna be bad.
No, we're not. Is it gonna be fine?
There we go.
Ready?
Alright, I got a full clip.
Good.
Here, let me give you the pistol ammo I got. I think I need to be near you. You wanna come near me so I can just give this to you? Thank you.
I'm punching it in my chest.
I think the dirty ones are probably blocked.
Mm-hmm. I really
I
just...
love all these close quarters. Hey, found bullets.
He's
Going
from
to the same
Alpha
place.
Team.
He's from Alpha Team. He's already dead. Oh boy. Captain Fearless over there. Look, more money. We're gonna have so much money when we exit the stage. No, that's cool. You don't want to give me them bullets though, huh?
Help!
Give me some of them bullets before we go? Yeah? Man, give me some of them bullets?
Help!
Bullets, yeah?
Help!
Fine. I'm looking at the big picture. If you give me the bullets, I'll have them during the fight. Wouldn't you rather give them to me now before we go into a fight?
Yes, now. When we go
Look,
into a
he's on
fight,
Alpha
I will
Team.
give it to you. He's on Alpha Team. Why are you running over to him? We both know he's dead.
Inside man.
Set up. Don't take it. He's the inside man. See, I'm playing her character just right. I'm gonna go investigate. You talk to the dying man, okay?
Yeah, and then I come around the corner and you're like chained up by your ankle, hanging, swinging from like a dang pole. Like, yep, this went well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he died. He's probably.
Is
about to
he
become
okay? Waiting for the monster to appear. Aww.
Let's loot the rest of the room here.
Mine.
More bullets. One over here. Handgun ammo. Handgun ammo. Let me give this handgun ammo. Because I don't need it. You want the handgun ammo? Guess not. I guess someone doesn't want the handgun ammo. Yeah, there's a box over here. Or does someone need help?
I don't know how to operate this.
I don't know how to operate machinery.
Help me. I didn't get this education. You were
so
special.
mean on so many levels.
You were specially trained on this.
That might be true.
You were trained on this specific problem. I wasn't. I had to go to gym time while you were trained on how to handle this.
Okay, we came from this way. That's what I was thinking. I'm glad I went back because I ended up finding like a lot of gold. I'm coming, hold your britches. Chris, you're
Chris, come here. You have the special training to operate this.
Stuff.
You, you can't go through walls.
I was making sure that I'm looking to make sure I loot everything, dude, because I don't want to.
Come help me operate this.
I literally leave.
I don't know how to operate this.
How do elevators work?
You had the special training on how the elevators work. I had to go to gym class during that time. Mine.
I open it, you immediately take like mine. Let me reload this gun real quick so I got a full clip. I got bullets I need to give you, by the way.
Another body?
Wrong button. Look, more money.
I got you more cash, Chris. Hopefully you don't beat me again.
That's so mean. So wrong on so many levels.
We need key. You don't have key, Chris? No key.
Nope, no key. Keys are for. Oh boy, he's gonna get up, isn't he?
You're
like running
buddy.
Fear no evil. He's gonna get up. You can tell by like his physical outline. He's gonna get up. We want to walk by him. He's gonna get up and want a hug. That's TNT you're standing next to, buddy. I'm going to probably kill myself. Well, we gotta get to a checkpoint before I even flirt with it. Lots of money, lots of money, lots of money. Gold everywhere. Is it these things that are easy to knock over? Oh, there's a planter. Good pickup. Good eyes. I'm sorry, are you hitting those right now? I'm gonna watch it explode immediately and they kill you. I found the key. Oh my god!
We knocked them over. I did good, Chris. I did good.
Oh god, that one exploded. Well, I was gonna use those for if zombies came, we could have used the furnaces as, or use them as a. The key's back here, right?
But I did good. Again, a non-realistic cutscene again.
Because they're moving with their guns aim.
We all know in real
boy.
life you can't move with your gun. Maybe I should have given you the ammo.
Yeah, you went down those machine gun bullets you can't use.
I'll fit them into the pistol. Just give me time.
I'm looking forward to this fight. I think we run though. I think we have to run.
I actually don't have any machine gun bullet ammo on me. Here it comes.
I think we're going to die. I think I killed us. Oh, that's what we need to do. We need to get inside of there. Ow! We'll just run past it if we can.
I didn't take hit.
It's got stuff on me.
You got worms. No one likes worms.
Alright, we need to try to lure it into there and then hit the button. Don't waste your bullets, don't waste your bullets, don't waste your bullets.
Okay, I'll go with my knife.
No, come back here, come back here, come back here. We gotta lure it into the room. Then we hit the button.
Hit the button? I don't know how to operate such machinery.
Oh boy, this could be bad. We're not gonna get it this time. We gotta run back around again. Don't waste your bullets. We don't need to waste the bullets.
Waste bullets.
Stop wasting the ammo. We don't need to waste the ammo.
Waste the ammo.
Go ahead and get next to the button. I'll tell you when to hit it. So it doesn't go to the button, please, or just you hold it. I'll go next to the button. You just tell me whenever you come around the corner. Where's it at now? It's back over there in the corner.
Turn it
Try to
on.
lure it this way. No.
Chris, I don't feel safe.
Where's it at? I don't know where it's at. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Now taunt
I want to
it.
hit the button and then run this way with me. Oh, never mind. Oh, I'm probably going to die now. That's great. I love wasting it. Hit the button. Hit the button. Hit the button.
Boop boop.
It saw you as an enemy and it decided to come after you.
Why you act so frustrated?
I'm not frustrated. Because I lost 3/4 of my health because of something that could have been avoided.
Well, you should have avoided it.
I couldn't avoid it. Alright. We're honestly probably better off letting it kill us so we get our health back.
Ow! It's in here with
After
me.
you. It's not gonna matter. We can't hit it right now.
Why?
Because it's not inside the furnace, there it goes.
It was inside the
Button, come on,
furnace.
go. But the moment, it takes like a 10 seconds for the door to come down. Like, it doesn't, like, we have to time it where it's like halfway through the furnace before we hit the button. I mean, we probably could kill it the natural way of shoot the parts, probably, but...
You want me to use my incendiary?
No, run over back to the switch. Run back to the switch if you don't mind.
I'm at the switch.
Go on ahead and hit the button.
You won't let me. I hit it. I'm hitting it.
Okay.
Turn it on. Keep it inside. Keep it inside.
I think we did it. Yep, there it is. Yep. Don't waste the bullets. Don't waste your ammo.
It's hot, Chris. It's hot. We cooked it. Dinner is served.
Now, what loot did it drop?
Nothing.
No loot. That's just terrific. I'm quarter dead here, and we're good. It's terrific.
I use the key now.
Yeah, the key you don't have. Like, I use my telekinesis. Oh look, it's on Alpha Team. Don't worry, I'll investigate. No, you won't let me investigate. Hey look, there's stuff. Ammo! Ammo! That's it, just a bunch of pistol ammo, huh?
Chris, I don't know how to operate this again. How do I operate?
Should be the end of the chapter. Please be the end of the chapter.
Nope. Now we have to get out.
Well, time-wise, we're on the same time gap that the first one was.
What do you mean? 10 minutes a game?
The first part.
Somebody's watching.
Well, it's about 30 minutes.
No, it's
Yeah,
the plague doctor. I knew it. I knew it was her the entire time.
I think it'll be the end of the chapter, though, because it says in that time frame of 30 minutes.
Do you know the password?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
See, I don't get such privileges. I have gym to go to.
Is that like a running gag or something? Or is this your go-to there? I'll be having Africa is gym class. So mean and wrong, man. But it is not wrong. It is right. It is the only right.
We live like our
It's true.
ancestors and run forever.
So mean.
I'm gonna get banned. I'm waiting for YouTube to flash red.
Self-destruct. Self-destruct.
Deleting your account. I agree. Why don't we take one of the Humvees?
No, we're gonna walk. We don't know how to drive cars. We did it.
Again, I have higher
Hey.
accuracy. I technically beated you.
You technically, yes, you did. I bet you're proud of you. Yeah, you did. You did really good. Bravo.
Yep. And 0 deaths. We didn't even die once that time.
Yeah, we definitely did good. Well, I guess that's where we're going to be calling it quits for the day.
Yep. I hope everyone has a great rest of their
Let me actually
weekend.
start.
What?
Let's at least start the next part so it's saved. I don't know where the save window is. I don't want to take a chance on it kicking us back.
Ooh, I got a treasure.
It says invite. I think you already left. No, it says you haven't. I don't know. It says you're right. I don't know.
Beautiful woman's portrait carved in ivory. I don't get. I'm guessing these are things you sell to make money. I'm guessing.
Yeah, you just sell them. I can't remember if they actually have any true significance. Like, I don't recall there being a special salesman in the game that'll give you more money later for having them.
Ooh, I could get first aid spray. I could get a shotgun.
You could get the shotgun. If you buy the shotgun, I'll give you the ammo for it. I got 5 shots for it.
Not worth it.
We'll just wait till we find one.
Mm-hmm.
I actually need to upgrade my guns, actually. Let me upgrade this real quick. I just spent all my money upgrading the firepower on the gun, because that's probably the biggest thing. I'm sure we'll get better guns later, but...
There we go.
Works for me. And let me give you the pistol ammo.
So that's 2,000 there, and that's another 2,000. Two $2,000 right there. Some would call 4,000.
Works for me.
What if I decided not to bring my pistol in?
You'd probably be using your fists or your knife.
Chris.
We did good.
Chris, I think we take the Humvee.
I know, we don't have any keys probably.
The engine won't start.
Oh, engine won't start. Well, we answered our own question.
How about the other Humvee?
Wah.
It won't start
Engine
either.
won't start.
Chris,
Typical military.
why did you break the
lack of-
engines? Ooh.
What was that?
Ooh.
What?
Ooh. That thing is shiny. Shiny thing above there.
Is that a shotgun? Well, that's a nice gun. Well, gotta waste all my money upgrading this little pea shooter. So I guess we're not going to stop.
No, I just wanted to get everything in here because I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna let us keep everything or if it's gonna be like, oh no, start up new.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, sounds good to me.
What do you want to do? How do you want to end this? We know the Humvees don't walk.
Guess, will our survivors make it out of this situation alive? And tune in next week. That actually doesn't hurt you.
No, it doesn't.
Until next time. On DBZ.
DBZ? What's DBZ?
Dragon Ball Z.
We're not playing that. Gosh, have you thought we've been playing Dragon Ball Z the entire time?
Ka me, me.